Hello everybody, welcome to Marietta's Art channel. Today I am going to be preparing a canvas for you to be ready to pour resin art on it. I'm going to use the swipe technique to create cells and lacing, and it is so beautiful I cannot wait to show it to you. So let's prepare this canvas. The first thing I'm going to do is spray water on the surface of it. What happens with the canvas, as you can see right here, the canvas is it's not very tight, and we want to tighten up the canvas as much as we can. I'm going to put the canvas down and grab some spray water and spray the whole surface and wait for about 5 minutes. It's been soaking for about 5 minutes now, and now I'm going to, it's still pretty wet obviously, so to speed things up, we are going to take the heat gun and be really careful with that because you can definitely burn yourself. But I want to speed this up and get this all dried up. Alright, so I just dried this and it's quite a bit tighter. I can see it's pretty taut, but it still has a little motion in it. So we're going to go to the next step to correct that from pooling. I actually cut a piece of foam board out for this purpose, so I did that before, so it fits perfectly inside. And now I'm going to place it inside the frame. And I plan to just keep this inside here for the duration of this. We'll see if we take it out at the end or not, but this will keep it from sagging. And I'm going to tape it. Alright, so I finished the frame as far as the taping part, and I think it's going to work really well. You can kind of tell that it's way tighter, like it is not moving anywhere. So we're going to be ready for the next step. So the next thing that we're going to do is I am going to sandpaper the exterior part of this because it's a little bit shiny, and I don't really trust that the epoxy resin is going to adhere. Alright, so we went ahead and finished this part, but I'm going to clean it up now with some alcohol. So you can see that I got some of the colorants off of it, which is great. Then I know it's really clean and we can go on with the next step, which I am going to paint the background with acrylic paint. And that's going to give us our background for when we do our resin art. So we're going to do that next. I saturated the sponge in here, and I'm just going to first probably just flow this on here because there's a lot of black, and I'm going to paint it all black first. So the next step is I am going to go the fast way, and once again I'm going to dry the surface so we can go on with the next edition of some of the really pretty pearlescent paint that I talked about. and we're done with adding the acrylic. The next thing, which I will be adding the resin, and that is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait to show you what we can do with that. Just a little question for you, a little bit off the subject, but not really. I wondered how you like this background. We changed it from the previous 3-part series to this, and this is my buddy and my Jaguar that I did the scratchboard art for. And how do you like his eye? I just love his eye, and let me know. The next step to preparing the canvas is I am going to put some blue tape on the edges, and I'll show you where, so that when I flow the resin on the sides, because I like it to drip down, it doesn't drip toward the inside of the canvas and just make a huge mess. The next step we will go over is the colorants I'll be using and mixing with resin. They're wonderful colorants. I picked an array of different ones. If you want to know exactly what I'm using, click on the link below and you'll find out. Mix the beauties. So I'm gonna take the covers off, and the first thing I do is put the colorants in first. The powders especially, because they do go poof, and I do not want them in my nose. And so I'm going to be doing that first, is adding those in. I like to add a lot of gold, sometimes maybe not obey the 10% rule, just because I love the way the gold floats on the surface. If you don't add enough concentration, it won't do that. So I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm going to add quite a bit. Next, I'm going to mix the resin, and then I'll pour it onto all the different cups that I showed you. So we mix the resin, and it's really clear, and I want to show you close up what it looks like when it's mixed. It still has bubbles, but it's super clear with bubbles, but it's okay. And it's very cool. So now that we've mixed the resin, we're going to pour it into the cups of the different colorants. That's the next step. We're back from mixing all that pigment, and I just want to remind you that it's really important that you mix everything thoroughly, the powders, everything else. If you don't mix the sides and the bottom, you're going to have some soft spots in the resin, and you won't like it, and it just ruins the piece. So the next thing, we will put a clear coat over the top of this, because resin likes to go to resin, and I'm just going to cover the entire surface. The next thing, I'm going to torch this a little bit, and what it happens is not only it takes care of the bubbles that form on the surface, but it also makes the resin more flowy, and it gives it a little bit more of a liquid type of feel, so it actually blends everything really well together. You have to be really patient with this. You can't hurry anything up, unfortunately, but it makes for beautiful art. All right, we're gonna continue on with the colors on top. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this a little bit of a negative space, even though it's really not negative. It's got some silver on it, but I really like it. I think we're gonna go ahead and add the colorants, which will make the amazing cells that you are here to see. So with this technique, this is going to be a swipe technique, and with the stone coat countertop, the white or the base coat has to be on the bottom of the swipe. So you're going to start the swipe in this direction wherever the white is. So I'm going to place the white below everything else where I'm going to do the swiping. And I'm going to do the same thing here because I'm going to swipe to the top too. Next thing, I'm going to go ahead and give this nice and warm so it travels, gets rid of the bubbles as well. It's really important to have the whole piece of paper submerged and go very slowly. And you can go any direction you want as far as the swipe, and drag the white with it. So at the very beginning there won't be cells, but there will be as you go along. Alright, so we're going to now add some heat. that some of these cells would come out a little bit more. And if it's not enough, I'll add some more white and carry it through. You have to be patient for them to form. You never know when they're actually going to do it. I can see some really beautiful ones forming, but I don't see as much here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more white and swipe again. Let's see how that works, and then maybe do the same thing in the other ones. Just kind of continue the journey where you want the cells to form and keep adding the white and maybe more colors around the areas you want. So I'm going to add more here. I really like the peacock part, so I'm going to add more here. And the black makes it really, I'm glad I didn't do anything with this. It looks like they're forming really nicely in here. So you just have to be creative and keep on going. It's easy to overwork things. I just really work on not doing too much, because then it was good, then it's not. Looking pretty good. I think it's just what we wanted to achieve. Because the next thing I will do is actually paint some oil water drops with oil paint on this, and I'm really excited to be a part of this thing. So one thing I do like to do, make it more organic, is tilt it a little bit and have it flow a little more. You have to be careful because the cells may go away. It just makes the cells a little bit bigger and more pronounced in some areas. Add a little bit more heat in the middle so it kind of gets a little more mixed together, because heat makes it more liquid. I flamed it a little much. around a little bit. That's the part that's going to run quite a bit. As it cools off, it doesn't run as much. But I want to make it really beautiful on the inside as well. So let's see here. Run it this way. You can see the background we did actually shows, which is what we wanted. And I think we're just about there. I just want to correct this little area here. Add to it, I should say. And you can do it with small little spots. Let's just see how this looks. I think that's going to be really good. I don't think we want to do too much more to it. It's pretty busy with the cells, and I love the way they turned out. They're going to continue forming as everything hardens. I do want to add some more colorants to the sides now, so I'm just going to actually do it with my fingers. A certain amount of working time with this, and usually 45 minutes to an hour and a half. I've gone as long as an hour and a half with this, but then it obviously starts hardening and it's harder to work with, so I just want to make sure that we don't go over that time. To it. So right now I think what I'm going to do, now that we're done with this piece, it just needs to rest. I'm going to take my iPhone and just kind of go over what it looks like now, because tomorrow it may look totally different. So let's get a close-up of this and hope it stays close to what it is, because I can see already the cells changing a little bit and getting kind of combining together. So I'm going to grab the phone. I am so excited for the next part of this video, which is going to show another aspect of what you can do on resin. I'm actually going to paint some water drops. I love water drops, and I've always wanted to do water drops everywhere, and I study them and they're light and the way that they look three-dimensional, and I got pretty good at it, so I'm excited to show you how to paint them on there. I'm going to use most likely oil. I am a little concerned about the oil not working with the resin pour, but because I'm going to use liquid, which is a hardener for oil, it makes it harden really fast, and it's going to be very thin. I think it's going to be okay. So I so appreciate you watching this and being a part of this for me, and happy arting. See you next time. Thank you so much.